Alright, so in my last video I mentioned that I was going to be away for a few weeks because I was going on a trip. Well, I went on that trip, I'm back now, and something absolutely crazy happened while I was away. Now, I haven't done story times in a while. The last time I made one was like 4 or 5 months ago or something, and I think that was the science class explosion video. After that, I didn't feel like making them anymore, but after this crazy event happened, I knew we just had to make a video on it. Alright, so on my trip, I actually ended up going down to Disney World in Florida, and instead of flying down there, we drove. Now I live in Ontario, and because of the fact that Ontario is pretty far from Florida, it did take us quite a few days to get down to Disney. Once we finally got down there, our first day was supposed to be at Magic Kingdom, which honestly I was kind of the least excited for. Like at Hollywood Studios, there's freaking Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. At Epcot, there's Test Track Soaring and Guardians of the Galaxy. Even at Animal Kingdom, there's the awesome Avatar ride. At Magic Kingdom, the only thing I was kind of excited for was Splash Mountain. So we go to Magic Kingdom in the morning of our first day there, and we go on quite a few rides. Splash Mountain was really fun. Buzz Lightyear was kind of boring, honestly. Like, it wasn't really that fun. And then there was Space Mountain, which has got to be one of the best rides I've ever been on. I'm a huge fan of rides that are scary but also really fun, and that's exactly what Space Mountain was. Anyway, so we ended up going back to the hotel for a couple hours just to relax. I ended up going to some sort of reptile show out of boredom, and I got to hold an alligator, which was pretty fun. I'll put a picture up on screen of that, but yeah, that was really cool. Alright, so this is where the main story actually starts. So at like 9 o'clock or something, there were these fireworks by the castle at Magic Kingdom, and my parents really wanted to go see them. So we ended up driving back to Magic Kingdom and to go on a couple more rides for the fireworks. I think it was Seven Dwarfs and Haunted Mansion. Both were fun, but not like anything too special. And then after that, it was time for the fireworks. Now, one important thing to note is that since everyone wanted to see the fireworks, there were employees and security guards guiding people into different areas to see them. We were able to get pretty close to the castle, which obviously had a good view. However, I hadn't gone to the washroom since the hotel, and I realized that I gotta go. So I told my parents, hey, I gotta go to the washroom. I know this is a really bad time, but I really gotta go. And they're rightfully annoyed. Should I have gone earlier? Absolutely, 100%. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. I don't know what else to tell you. Thankfully, my parents seem to understand that, and they come up with a plan. They tell me to head to the washroom by myself, and if I can't get back to them, head to the Big C. So I listened to this plan, and once I get past the huge crowd, I ask an employee for directions and basically just sprint to the washroom Sonic the Hedgehog style. I spend my time in there, and then I exit the washroom. This is the point where I realize I'm lost. Okay, I wasn't completely lost, but I forgot my way back to where my parents were, or the Big C. Luckily, I realized I had a map from earlier on me. We were using the map to get from ride to ride, and I guess I was the last person in possession of it. I didn't bring my phone to Magic Kingdom because of all the thrill rides and stuff, so this map was really the only sort of navigation that I had access to. So once I get it out of my pocket, I use it to try to get back to where I was. As I was walking, I noticed that I'm walking against the crowd. Like entirely. No lanes or some heading different directions, but entirely against the crowd. And that's when an employee tells me that I can't go this way and I need to walk the other way. I explain to him that my parents had told me to go to the Big C, and this guy tells me that I can get there by walking around the other side. It will just take a little bit longer, but it can't interrupt the flow of traffic, which I mean is completely fair. I was kind of interrupting the flow of traffic a little, and I do not blame this guy at all for stopping me. He's clearly just doing his job, and he was nice enough to give me another route to where I needed to be. I tell him I understand, and I proceeded to walk the other way. I take out the map and use it to navigate while moving with the crowd, not against it this time. By now, the fireworks had actually started, so I would occasionally glance up from the map to look at them, but I was still extremely focused on my task. So I'm walking for a bit, and I end up making it to the Big C in the map. Now I'm standing right outside the building and I hear a, "Excuse me." I turn around and there's a security guard behind me, and she's saying that I can't be here. So I explain that my family told me to be here, and she tells me that I can't be in the middle of the road and tells me to get into the crowd next to me. I tell her, okay, no problem. That's not an unreasonable demand at all. I kind of was blocking the path, so I step into the crowd, thinking that it's close enough to the Big C for when the show ends. Apparently, that wasn't the end of it, as she then asks me if the people behind me are my family, which they answer for me and say no. I still have absolutely no idea why she asked that. I literally never said these people were my family. I told her that my family told me to wait here. I never said they would be here. Maybe she just got confused, but it still really annoyed me. But this dumb guard, this absolute Karen of a security guard, you know what she says next? She tells me in a super angry voice, You need to leave. First off, woman, what did I even do to get kicked out? Look, I was willing to cooperate with you. I was willing to stand in the crowd and not cause problems, okay? I was literally listening to you, doing exactly what you asked me to do. And because the people behind me are not my family, which I never said they were, nor said they were even here, you're gonna kick me out. I was just going where my parents told me to go. I was willing to step into the crowd to not cause problems, and you kicked me out for no good reason. I couldn't believe what I heard, so I asked her, wait, do you mean the park? And she says, just leave. So I take that as a yes, and I start heading towards the exit. Before any of you start saying, Shaun, why didn't you talk back to her? You're such a chicken. You gotta realize that this woman had authority over me, and no matter how much of a Karen this idiot was, I wasn't gonna argue with her because that would have made things a lot worse. So I'm heading towards the exit, right? Which is out of sight of the guard. But of course, like the savage I am, I don't actually leave. Okay, there's a chance maybe it's because I had no way to reach my parents and I was scared of leaving the park. Actually, that's exactly it. I didn't have my phone on me, so I couldn't contact my parents. If I was out of the park, they would not be able to find me, and they'd probably call security to try and find me. And I didn't want things getting worse and getting to that level, so I just faked leaving the park. At this point, I'm just blending in with the moving crowd and ended up getting to an area kinda close to the big C, but far away enough that the security guard can't really see me. So I can finally just enjoy the fireworks. And they were pretty cool, I ain't gonna lie. They were very enjoyable. I like fireworks, I like seeing big sky explosions. On a side note, I found it pretty weird that on this trip I was in the US for Canada Day, meaning I actually missed it. And it was equally as weird to be in the US for the 4th of July. I actually did go to some fireworks on July 4th. Before any of you say, but you're Canadian! I like watching things blow up in the sky, okay? It's really satisfying. I enjoy it very much. Also, I only saw it as a delayed Canada Day in my head. Anyways, back to the story. So the fireworks go on for a bit, and they're nice, but when they finish, it's absolute chaos. You know that scene in Jurassic Park when there's that huge herd of dinosaurs running all together, and Alan Grant and the kids are trying not to get trampled? That's exactly what the aftermath of the fireworks felt like. I don't know how to describe it other than just chaos. Now, I was desperately trying to get back to the Big C, but I was pretty slow due to the huge crowd walking in every possible direction. Now, I knew there was going to be a huge chance the guard was still at the Big C, but I didn't really care too much. I would rather confront the guard again than have my parents have no idea where I am and get extremely worried. I already had a rough night, but I really did not want the same thing to happen to my parents, as they care about me very much and I just don't want them getting too worried. So it takes me a while to get there, but eventually, I do. My parents and sister are already there, and when they see me, my sister yells, "There he is!" They ask me where I was, and I tell them everything that just happened. I tell them about getting lost. I tell them about the guard. I tell them about getting asked to leave. This is around the time that I noticed the same security guard, and there's no way she doesn't see me. But she doesn't look like she's gonna do anything about me being there. So either she saw me with my family and realized that I was in the right, or she never meant to leave the park and just the area I was in. Either way, that's a dub for me. My parents tell me they meant come to the Big C after the fireworks, which I guess makes a lot more sense in retrospect, but that doesn't change the facts that they're still pretty mad about the guard kicking me out. My dad asks which security guard it was, and I don't point her out, but I do a little head motion in her direction, and my dad catches on. He tells my mom they should talk to the guard, but I tell them I think that's a terrible idea. Look, I'm pissed as well, but I really don't want to cause any more problems. The guard is clearly aware that I'm here, and she isn't doing anything, right? So nothing's gonna happen. I didn't want to risk actually getting kicked out or something happening, as no matter how angry we were at this woman, she did have authority over us. My parents ended up agreeing with me, and we just leave it at that, but we're still pretty pissed about it. Immediately, my parents told me they were glad I didn't actually leave because I didn't have a phone on me, they wouldn't be able to reach me, and I told them, yeah, I know, that's why I didn't leave. They were still pretty mad about the guard trying to kick out a 16-year-old, but looking back, I don't think the guard actually, kicked me out. Like, she must have just meant, leave the specific area I was at or wait until after the fireworks. Then when she saw me back there with my family, she didn't do anything, so I probably wasn't actually kicked out. We ended up going on a few more rides after that, including Splash Mountain for a second time, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Jungle Cruise. We go back to the hotel after that, and that's the end of the day. The rest of my vacation went great. I went to all three other parks. I built a lightsaber at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot. That's the best ride I've ever been on in my life. Seriously, you have to go on that in your lifetime. It's amazing. And then I actually wrote this entire script on the car ride home. So yeah, that was the story of how I got kicked out of Disney. or at least thought I got kicked out, but really wasn't. I don't know, I guess the title of the video is a little clickbait, so I'm sorry about that. This actually isn't even the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. There was once a girl in my class who screamed, "Come kill us," during a lockdown. I know, it's absolutely crazy.